Republicans, as we have talked about extensively on the show, are now pushing for an impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden over their allegations against him of being caught up in a bribery scheme, but they keep not being able to provide evidence to that effect. And I came across a segment where Sean Hannity is interviewing Kevin McCarthy and walks through all the reasons he feels like this is a legitimate scandal. He feels that now there's enough evidence to really be, if nothing else, concerned or to feel like something has been proven about President Biden and this scheme, this set of allegations against him from Republicans. And it is nice, just the way that he walks through will be nice for me to be able to respond to it. Very easy. He just point, and I can go back and, for all of you, walk through the details of why what he's saying is so dishonest in a very formatted form that I think will be beneficial. Because I spend a lot of time here, there, that claim, this claim, debunking it, every so often going through in kind of one concise, consolidated place, the reasons why this broader narrative about Biden is just so false, I think is beneficial. So here is Sean Hannity making the case to Kevin McCarthy for why indeed an impeachment inquiry is justified and this is a real scandal, and then I will debunk it.
Here's where I want to go with this, though, because to me, I don't care how much the media ignores it or the Democratic Party ignores it. This is a real Joe Biden, not Hunter Biden, bribery scandal allegation here. We know now the following. Let's go through the facts. We know that Joe lied both as a president and as a candidate when he repeatedly denied ever speaking to Hunter, his brother, or his words, anybody for that matter, about their foreign business dealings. We know that was a lie. We know that Joe Biden leveraged $1 billion taxpayer dollars in loan guarantees for Ukraine and insisted that a prosecutor be fired in 6 hours. As a result of that, his son Hunter, who was sitting on a board that he admitted on Good Morning America that he had no experience to be on, continued to get paid. Ultimately, it was millions of dollars in the end. And my question is, tell me how that's not influence peddling. You know, the bribery statute, Mr. Speaker, does not demand that somebody benefit themselves financially. In this case, the vice president, as the 1023 form pointed out, took a specific action, and his family, was involved in personal enrichment, that being Hunter, based on his actions. Is that bribery to you?
And we'll get to Kevin McCarthy's response after walking through what Sean Hannity said there. It's interesting, if you weren't familiar with what Sean Hannity was saying, the details of the talking points he's putting forward, most people would assume he has to be being honest, right? Just based on how confidently he's saying all of that and kind of the illusion of specifics and knowledge. But no, he wasn't being honest whatsoever. And I jotted down his points so we can go through all of them without missing a single one, starting off with him saying that President Biden has been confirmed to have been lying, that Republicans have uncovered the fact, I guess, is Sean Hannity's belief, that Biden was lying when he said on the 2020 presidential campaign trail, and then reaffirmed multiple times afterward, that he didn't have knowledge of, didn't talk to Hunter Biden about, wasn't a part of Hunter Biden's foreign business dealings. Now, it's not the case that those things have been proven to be lies. I don't know where Sean Hannity's getting that from. Maybe he's referencing not the Devon Archer testimony, but the dishonest talking points about the Devon Archer testimony. It's been one of the most mind-boggling things watching a moment where the Republican case against Biden kind of got further demolished, and they've now taken that and spun it as if it was a win. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, Devon Archer is the former business associate of Hunter Biden, and House Republicans, the House Oversight Committee, brought him in for a closed door meeting that we now have the transcript from, and it was coined as a bombshell interview. It's supposed to reveal a bunch of information about these allegations, but then, whether he was trying to or not, Devon Archer assisted in debunking a bunch of the key parts, the key aspects of the allegations against President Biden, including this talking point that Biden was in the know, he was talking to Hunter Biden about, he was in on, in some way, Hunter Biden's foreign business dealings. That's not the case, at least according to the witness that Republicans called that was supposed to reveal this information, being Devon Archer, who said he hadn't observed or witnessed or knew of any situation where Joe Biden was talking about or in on the foreign business dealings of Hunter Biden. And Joe Biden indeed would be on the phone a lot with Hunter Biden because they're father and son, especially after the son of Joe Biden, brother of Hunter Biden, Beau Biden, passed away. They were on the phone quite consistently. But even then, even when Hunter Biden was around business associates, so he would throw Biden on speakerphone and the people would say hello and there'd be small talk. That's all it would be, is what Devin Archer said. Small talk, how's the weather, stuff like that. And never did business dealings come up. Never did that subject come up whenever Biden was on the phone. The exact opposite of what Sean Hannity is saying. According to the witness that Republicans called, and Republicans thought was going to be this big bombshell moment. But despite that testimony and the transcript being released that we can all go and read, Republicans are pretending like that testimony proved something it absolutely did not. And then he goes on to say that Biden withheld aid to leverage the firing of a top prosecutor in Ukraine, which is indeed the case. But the reasoning that Sean Hannity is saying Biden did that is not accurate. So Sean Hannity and people in the right wing say that Biden, to benefit Burisma, which is the company that Hunter Biden worked at, was trying to use his power as vice president to get Viktor Shokin, the top prosecutor at the time, fired, removed from that position of authority because he was going to cause trouble for Burisma. So Joe Biden was, because he was bribed or something, trying to help his son by helping Burisma by getting rid of this top prosecutor, Viktor Shokin. But multiple points on this just destroy that. Number one, this was in line with the broader anti-corruption measures that the United States was taking in Ukraine, and Viktor Shokin, long record of corruption allegations against him. So this was what Biden was supposed to be doing in kind of getting rid of and rooting out corruption in Ukraine. Number two, our European allies wanted this to happen. They were also pushing for this. And so Biden was acting in accordance with, in alignment with our European allies and the broader U.S. government stance. And number three, and this is just wild. So Viktor Shokin had, as I said, a bunch of corruption allegations against him, the top prosecutor. And this includes him acting corruptly, the allegation being in the interest of Burisma. So he was corrupt in that he wasn't properly investigating and wasn't properly open to any prosecutorial action or just an extensive investigation into Burisma and the top executive there. And so Joe Biden in that case would have been doing the thing that was in the exact opposite interest, not in the interest of his son Hunter Biden and Hunter Biden's business where he was working, which was Burisma. And Archer, the business associate of Hunter Biden, acknowledged in that same closed door meeting, based on the transcript that we now have access to, that having Viktor Shokin, that top prosecutor in Ukraine, was actually beneficial to Burisma because, quote, he did not pursue corruption investigations against Burisma's owner, effectively shielding the owner from prosecution. And that was a statement from Democratic Representative Dan Goldman that then Devin Archer agreed with. So by leveraging aid to get Viktor Shokin fired, Biden was acting the opposite way than what you would have done if you're trying to help Burisma and thus help his son. Every which way you look at this, the allegations do not stand. It's pretty incredible. And even we could go on and on and on, specifics about the timeline of when this investigation was shelved and then when Biden did the thing he did. And again, this was all in accordance with and in line with what the broader international community was wanting at that point in time. And putting all that aside, the narrative not making sense without evidence, you also take into consideration, even if you had a compelling narrative, ooh, that timing is weird. You would still have to have evidence that Biden was bribed and you don't. But even if he was, it wouldn't make any sense because he would have been bribed to do something that wasn't actually necessarily in the interest of his son's company. So all of it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but they keep pushing it because it's not about facts. It's about political attacks. Here's Kevin McCarthy's response.
Well, Sean, everything that you just talked about, nobody in America knew until you had a change in Congress. The FBI didn't act on their information from their informant. No one came forth. They took the words of this president, and you were right. This isn't about Hunter Biden. This is about paying to play for the Biden family, because the money goes to 9 different members through shell companies, much like the informant said. So we will continue to follow the information wherever it takes us and provide it to the American public. The difference here is we don't do it for political purposes.
Really? Really, Kevin? Gosh. We don't do it for political purposes. Just the most gaslighting you could possibly imagine. Separate Fox News moment just to throw on the end of this segment. So funny. Kayleigh McEnany is referencing the Devin Archer testimony and said this.
And that's what we're going to be talking about. And of course, not a mention in the last 15 minutes of Hunter Biden or the laptop.
Kayleigh, it's fascinating. What do you make of it?
It is. I mean, when I watched the shocking Devin Archer testimony, what did we learn? We learned that President Joe.
Okay, and then she goes to the similar talking points. Why is that funny? Because she says, quote, when I watched the shocking Devin Archer testimony, I learned a lot from that hearing. It would have been impossible for you to watch the testimony because it happened privately. And then days went by and then a transcript was released. So I don't know if you watch words when you read them, but maybe that was a slip up. It sounds like she just thought it was another public hearing and was just referencing all the talking points she's heard and highlighted her own dishonesty there. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before all the clips are able to be uploaded to the YouTube channel, plus get the bonus show on the weekends, you can do so by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. That's lukebeasleyshow.com/membership, and there's a link in the description.